Hello, everyone. Travis McCurdy here, Northwood Athletics. We're checking in with all of our head coaches, and we're now to our cross country coach, Jeremy Wilk. Coach Wilk, how's life been for you the last few weeks?
It's a little bit different than normal, but we're getting through it. We're trudging on.
Has there been anything around the house that maybe normally this time of year you're so busy with track season? Is there anything like that you sort of house projects you've been working on? So as soon as I say that, I lost your audio completely there. Do you hear me at all? Yeah, you answered the first question was fine, then your video's still good, but your audio just vanished.
Okay, well, I've got my phone right in front of me. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. That's better.
Okay,
So I don't know. That was
hold it.
weird. Okay, that was
Okay.
really weird. Because the first question was fine, then all of a sudden it was
All
weird. So
right, well, you
I'll
can't
just
see the phone, but down here.
oh yeah. No, you can't. Yeah, you're good. Um, so actually, yeah. So what have you been doing around the house? Try that again.
All right,
Wait.
so
I'll just ask the whole thing again, so there's not like a smooth cut. So
okay, I'll ask surprise then too.
okay, yeah. Wow, what a question. Um, so during this time of quarantine, have you done anything around the house that maybe you wouldn't be able to do because you're so busy in track season right now?
So one project was in the bathroom. It was supposed to be a simple, easy project. Replaced the shower head, and then a roommate mentioned that that the bathtub faucet was having some issues. So I went to go and replace it. Home Depot couldn't help me with it because they didn't have a bath faucet that could do it. Put it back on. I must have put it back on the wrong way because there was a slight leak somewhere else in the house. But we got it controlled now. It's all cleaned up. So that was the closest thing to an improvement that we've had.
Wow, that's tough. How have you think you've been, I'm sure you've been in contact with your athletes and stuff. How do you think they've been handling everything that's been going on?
I think each kid's in a little bit different of a situation, but I think for the most part they're handling it as well as they can. Colin and I have been checking in about every week or every other week, depending on the kid, and some people are handling it really, really well, and it's not much of a transition. Whereas there's some other people where it's going back home and they had to pick up jobs or other types of things, and I heard originally that the transition to online learning, they had a lot of extra work that they compared to what they had in the past. So, it kind of depended on the kid, but I think for the most part they've handled it well. And from what I've heard about what they're doing, I think training wise they've been putting in the work, and they've been keeping their eyes more on the long term than the short term in terms of where their goals are at. Because unfortunately we don't have any competitions to keep them super motivated for in the short term.
Right. In terms of sports and how you keep your training and how you keep sharp with, you are in the best position of all the sports for sure, because like essentially a lot of the distance kids, you're social distancing in your training, you're just kind of running on your own. That frankly, I mean, for them it's kind of accelerates the off-season program a little earlier, but in terms of what you can do and how you can do stuff, it really doesn't change much for your kids.
Yeah, for the most part, it's pretty similar. I know they're missing the team aspect a little bit of being able to go out and go on runs with their teammates. Going out and grinding completely alone is a little bit more challenging. It can absolutely still be done, just like you mentioned, but that's a little bit of a challenge. The other thing that we've noticed too is we've had some really nice days weather-wise, and we've had some other days that are not quite as nice, where it's cold and windy, and that in the past where we would have had the option of working out on our indoor track, they don't have that option, and some of them don't even have outdoor tracks to work out on. So if we have workouts that are involving specific distances for repetitions, the challenge has been for them to, kind of navigating that weather, which we would have to do during outdoor season anyway, but it helps when you have teammates going through it with you as well. So that's been a little bit of a challenge for them, but for the most part, it's, kind of just getting the work in on your own and leaving it up to each kid to go out and do it.
Feel like the whole track program in general is on the rise on both sides, but really, I think you can make a strong argument that where the distance program was when you got here to where it is now has been as much, if not more, of an improvement for anything else. So I mentioned to Coach Roberts a little bit ago, same thing to you. You got to feel really good about the growth of your program overall. Different speeds for the men and women in terms of the improvement, but both of them are certainly trending upward right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know this past year on the guys side, we got 10th in the region, and that was almost like everything that could go wrong went wrong this past year. So that was something that was a pretty positive way of kind of bringing it into focus, like what you were talking about in terms of how much they've improved. Because last year was a pretty good performance for us at the regional meet. Things came together pretty well, and we got 9th. This year, it was, like I said, we were constantly dealing with little things, nicks and bruises, people getting sick, all sorts of stuff that you can't, you can try your best to plan for, but, there's only so much you can do. And we still got 10th. So for us to be disappointed with one spot worse shows that we've grown a lot. And, numbers-wise, obviously, we've grown a huge amount, too. I mean, and this year's going to be no exception. I mean, we graduate only 1 guy, 0 women, and we bring in right now 5 men and 5 women for next year. So that's something that's exciting. And as we've noticed from when I first started, the depth wasn't great. We have a lot better depth now, and that's a big reason why we've progressed the way we have.
Probably the biggest challenge, and I've asked every coach about this across the board, recruiting and how you recruit. I know you've already got 5 and 5, but you would also be looking at other kids right now and seeing their results and going to meets and stuff. So how are you approaching recruiting in this strange and unusual time?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, get to see them face to face. I think that's something that has helped us in the past, being able to get them on campus, be able to meet people on the team. And I think there's no real substitute for that face to face contact. And, going out and going to meets where they go out and compete. I know that's huge in terms of showing that you're interested in them and that you're making that effort. So with that all out of the equation, it changes the game a little bit, but at the same time, it's a level playing field for everyone where we all have access to the same technology. We're all dealing with the same challenges, just like you mentioned for our whole athletic department. So the big thing has just been, staying in contact with kids, trying to keep them motivated, because I know some kids, they had their outdoor track season for our sport. That's how it was set to go. And they were all really excited about that. And especially those seniors, they have that taken away is really, really tough. So, I've been trying to keep them motivated, keep them excited for that next step, whether it's here or somewhere else. But the main thing I think has been, just staying in contact with them, seeing if there's anything we can do to help kind of expedite that process, make them feel comfortable about Northwood and us as a coaching staff.
And I mentioned this to Coach Roberts as well, but the thing that's really interesting now for you guys is the good part is you have very limited seniors, but there are kids that get that extra year for spring that won't have it for cross country and for indoor. How have you thought about how you guys are going to approach that? It's uncharted waters for everybody.
Mm-hmm. I think it kind of depends on the kid and what their situation is. I know, for my group, and there's other athletes on the team that are in this boat too, but a lot of them are in that accelerated 3+1 program. So they're getting their undergrad degree in 3 years, their master's degree in that 4th year. So they're going to be out of here with the master's degree in 4 years. So, if they want to go out and get a job out in their field, I don't blame them. But I think it's kind of talking with each kid, seeing what they want to do, if they want to go out and save that extra or use that remaining outdoor, or some people are going to be like, it's only one outdoor season. It sucks, but I'm going to leave it on the table. And I think it kind of depends on the kid. And, Northwood, fortunately, we got, really good connections, and the kids get really good job opportunities coming out of school. So I've noticed that makes it a little bit harder to justify wanting to come back for only one season when it could be 2 or 3. So that's it's a double-edged sword, but I'm happy that they have good jobs coming out of school.
Yeah, it's a good double-edged sword to have. So, Coach Wilk, glad you're well. Stay safe, and really hope we can all see each other soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, T-Mac.